afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacaster. I'm your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda Heroes like Defender of the Fatherland. Off here to an exciting 1 vs 1 on Crossroads. We got in the south, Steffen and fighting for America, freedom and democracy. The 3rd Armour Division tasked with clearing out the Krauts here with Heavy Cavalry, Armour Company and Rifle Company versus the north. We got Panzer and Angreifen fighting for the Oberkommand West, Germany, Deutschland. The 2nd Panzer Division here with a breakthrough doctrine. Also, big thanks to Zhongzheng or Zhongzheng. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce that one, I'm afraid. So my sincere apologies there, but always big thanks to you for donating and supporting the Propagandacast, allowing me to keep doing what I do day after day. So very big thanks to you. And of course, if you'd like support, links in the video description. You can do so either at Patreon or PayPal. But meanwhile, back to the fun here. We got Riflemen again here, the Fuchsjungpionier out in the open. We got Kubelwagen on the way there for Angreifen. Dove Rifleman there for Steffen. With a bit of more info around. You can see that Angreifen aiming for a very disruptive start here versus 7BK, looking to aim and put pressure onto him. Well, not aim, but you just put pressure on him there in the early game, making it hard for him to push for his resources, and of course using the Kubelwagen to then rapidly gain the territory. They're using it to increase capping speed and mobility to sort of offset the sort of any loss he might have gone from doing it like this. So far Steffen is reacting not too panicky here to what Angreifen is doing, pushing him back. They're keeping him at bay. Of course, it is still tying up his troops as Angreifen's Kubelwagen rushes out. We got Volksgruß on the way there as well for Angreifen and the 2nd Panzer Division, also known as the Vienna Division. That is the capital of Austria, just in case someone is wondering, because, well, it was primarily recruited from there. As that was the fact and thing of the German divisions, that is still generally recruited from a specific part of Germany, usually a town or some other area. It is also why the Großdeutschland was known as the Großdeutschland, because it was not. Volksgruß are wrapping they need to retreat. They're caught in a pretty bad position with Sturmpani's forces and Kubelwagen all focusing down. Reactions continuing to these. We got a mortar out there for Steffen BK. Kubelwagen taking shots there from the M1 Garant, so they pierce the side armour of the Kubelwagen. Volksgruß moving out there. Sturmpani is heading westwards. Mortar setting up. Bit back and forth here, and they're going to contest the car front, and of course taking fire there from the Kubelwagen. Mortar fire landing quite close to it, almost taking out. He needs more infantry out in the field. He needs to pressure his opponent more, and there you go, forced away. So it's looking to be a bit of a rough start here for Steffen BK versus Angreifen. Of course, he's doing damage. He's also suffering it to those damn Krauts. Rather than reinforcing, pushing up against the forces, doing some damage and forcing away those damn Germans. Kubelwagen moving back from heavy repairs. Sturmpanzer moving towards the western fuel. You can almost reconnect all the eastern fuel or resources in the east. Meanwhile, though, Angreifen is quick to push for the cut-off point. And I imagine Steffen will be going for a 3rd rifle squad as soon as he can. There we go. As for Angreifen, he could go for more Volksgruß. They also go there for a tech-up. Trot on the way. Sandbags on the fuel point there. Sneaky Angreifen. The reaction should be able to harass and stall for time until more troops can arrive to contest. We can see that Steffen is intent on sort of trying to push ahead here and there. To destroy doesn't become quite, I think, too dependent on the point there as well. And there you go, volley fire there, trying to catch the Volksgruß, in this case the Rex in time. Still they get suppressed and he retreats here. And what is this? We actually got the Sturmofficer out from someone who isn't actually me. My God. The Sturmofficer, I think, is one of those more overlooked Oberkommand West units. But he's actually pretty good if you know how to use him. He's basically sort of a, well, 3/4 orbital land squad with an aura that boosts infantry nearby, and also some pretty efficient abilities, in particular target them, can be quite useful in occasion if we're just getting a wipe on an infantry unit if they're not paying attention. So I really like the Sturmofficer personally. But there you go, pushing slowly towards the centre. The east forces dug in here. Angreifen just knows he has to stall here for as long as possible, thusly denying. Never mind, he pushes ahead there. Switches forward, but there you go, caught out in the open here. Riflemen pushing forward, so the forces try to retreat. They will take quite some hits there from the Riflemen, allowing them, of course, just to get closer. And, of course, engage and win the Volksgruß. In this case, I do believe this is going to be a win for the Riflemen here. The Volksgruß isn't going to be taking too much damage up close from the Riflemen. I don't think the difference is quite as big as, say, Grenadiers versus Riflemen, with the Riflemen basically have, I think, almost 50% advantage there up close, which is in terms of raw DPS, but they'll still have an edge there. Got the Sturmofficer here over there with 3 kills. Rifle squad pushed back. Morton also needs to get out there before that gets wiped out. And there we go. Officer leading the way for Germany. An der Spitze. That was the German way of leading. Though, of course, it also led to high casualties amongst the German officers. Junior officers in particular suffered rather high casualty rates, which was definitely a problem as the war went on. So it's not something that was unique to the Germans. The British also suffered higher losses then, for example, during the Normandy invasion, they actually had to rely on Canadian officers to sort of make up for the loss of junior officers, which actually made the Germans think there are Americans in the sector because they can hear the Canadian officers shout orders. So, a few fun facts there. But there you go, Steffen BK pushing forwards again. Races opening up the Kugelwagen. And Battle Group Head calls up here to support his infantry approach. I mean, with breakthroughs, German officers, it certainly would be a more infantry-centric approach we're going to take here. Mechanized regiment wouldn't quite fully fit in with this. So it's also going there for the Leichtes Infanteriegeschütz officer hiding behind here. Oberleutnant Wilhelm. Ready. Forces hanging about there. So map is more or less 50-50 split between these two players. Light infantry gun halfway done. Mortar moving ahead, bombarding here. He's got another spot on the Volksgrenadiers. Fires away at the same time, pushing westwards. Obviously, there's going to be fighting more or less on his own. He has all the riflemen. He can use target them, of course. We'll try and get an edge there. The problem is there's I think too many. Not enough support, so he's going to have to retreat here. In fact, he might just end up retreating automatically as the officer himself gets killed, but it didn't happen. Sturmpionier arriving, slightly boosted Bally's hitting off the shoot harder! Why are you running? I'm just getting reinforcements. Yeah, just shoot harder! And right here with that little encouragement, the Riflemen were slightly overwhelmed here by the Sturmpioneers. Of course, another squad which will keep them at bay. In the centre, we get a push for the Kampfbahn there, aggressively by Steffen BK as he turns the table on Angreifen, who's going for medics there. Leichtes Infanteriegeschütz bombarding army positions with mostly accurate artillery fire. And we got the captain on the way for Steffen. He's likely going to go for the Stuart light tank, of course. I mean, it's a pretty efficient way. Of course, the Lieutenant offers more firepower. And of course, he's likely worried about the looks here. I mean, you know, even if he's seen the battle group or this stuff here, and even artillery, I mean, actually, the Lieutenant would make more sense here because he'd just be able to push the infantry harder. The Stuart's sort of begging if your opponent goes for the looks. You can have the Stuart out to counter that. You can have anti-tank guns and whatnot. But there's an infantry heavy approach. You're usually better off with the lieutenant and the platoon command post. We're going to get access to 50 calibers, M20s, and anti-aircraft traffics, all which are pretty good at punishing an infantry heavy approach. So that might be a small relief here. I mean, that's not to say the Stuart, of course, is all bad, but it's not a 50 caliber and, you know, AA half tracks. That's, you know, the important distinction there. So there might be some more gaps here for Angreifen to push ahead. We've got assault rifles that are being handed out to the Volksgrenadier. Back here we got, oh, he's actually using supervise. Might be someone's been learning from David, just realised on their own. That's a pretty good ability, but there you go. With this, he's actually able to rush out the Stuart in a matter of moments. I mean, if you're actually going to use the captain, then obviously this actually is not a halfback choice. It becomes a better choice. Though part of me still thinks Lieutenant works out, but of course he can also use this to rush out medium armour if he wants to. So we'll have to see how he does with this. You also got Panzerfusil out here for Angreifen. 2nd Panzer Division technically didn't have it. And there were, well, only 2 units sort of on the western front that had it. That was the Führer Grenadier Brigade and the Führer Begleit Brigade, because they were formed up from elements of the Corps Deutschland, which the original units have Panzerfusiliers, which is just a different title for Panzer Grenadier, sort of more honorific, if you will. The Sturmpioneers charging to the right from here. Tactically not the best move. There we go, we got the Stuart supporting here. Moving up with 30 caliber machine guns and its main gun, opening up in those goddamn crowds. Infantry moving up here, Stuart officer supporting the Panzerfusilier, boosting their firepower. But good aggressive harassment there from Steffen BK. He's actually got a lot of munitions, so I mean, he could pop down heavy cavalry or not pop down mines, or weapon racks for BARs would also be a. Oh, there we go, in fact. There we go. BARs being handed out there. That's going to put some serious pressure on Angreifen's troops and certainly make the officer more useful. But note here, he's quickly splitting up. That's a grab territory, also hitting in the east. That way, trying to sort of split up Steffen's forces, make it a bit easier to gain sort of, well, gains anywhere. So nice counter move there. You could even pop breakthrough tactics if you wanted to, but right now that's less necessary. There you go, immediately retreats as he meets the main force here of Steffen's counterattack, which of course also tells him this is going to be more successful because that's not where all the Americans are. His light infantry gun there, though, I think is way too close to the front line. I'm not entirely sure what Angreifen was expecting to achieve there, but that was definitely not advisable. Now, of course, not to say these assaults completely empty or abandoned, but there you go. Infantry forces doing what they can here, but they're quickly getting overwhelmed. They got riflemen from one side, captain from the other. Thompson's, BARs, M1 Garantis, all pouring down the poor unfortunate German men as they have to retreat. Stuart rolling a bit back around here, they kept moving out. Light infantry gun makes it back safely, And the Kubelwagen is also able to get repairs. I imagine Angreifen's going to try and take up as fast as possible. As for Steffen, he would probably also want to. He might also want to consider fuel cache on the cut-off point. So that way, you know, support faster armor, and particularly use the captain to rush the tech and then rush a Sherman. I mean, the more he can just use the captain to rush stuff out, the better for Steffen. Or Steffen. Steffen, but Steffen. Steffen, yes. Why? I'm sorry for calling him Steffen. Sorry, Steffen. Anyways, moving up on the west side, again, sort of rapid harassment from both players and sort of trying to outmaneuver the other bastard. Very nice to see there. Some unfortunate maneuvers there with the Stuart, though. Almost going to... Well, he's not going to lose it, but he's pretty close there. Pretty close. But he's going to be able to make it back with it. But he lost a squad that was over here in the East Resistance, got cut to ribbons by the Volksgrenadiers. No retreat, no salvation. Just death and sauerkraut. Angreifen there following up with the MD-34 to support his men. More riflemen to replace the resistance squad losses. Stuart being fixed up. Quickly pushing it. We got mines being down there, laid down by Angreifen's Sturmpioniere. Swift advances, a real good move there, making good use of the fact he's got a lot of infantry. Of course, he needs to be careful to, you know, not fully overextend, but when his knows opponent's been pushed back for a brief while, this is sort of a nice maneuver to make. There you go. Oh, bad luck. He should have moved the Sturmofficer squad in the first. You should let the Panzer was leading, so they would have more likely to draw on the fire, and that way he may be able to pull off there. But there you go. It's a mistake I make also quite commonly. It's occasionally a bit difficult to remember. But it's usually a bit of a trick. They usually want the Sturmofficer a bit behind the rest of the force there, so he's less likely to draw fire right away. But still provide, you know, aura support, but also just fire support himself, including his ability. In East, we got Volkswagen's Riflemen. That's, unless Angreifen's Volkswagen there are incredibly lucky. That's Steffen's fight. That is very much Steffen's fight. MD-34 setting up, they're covering the Raketmeer and the victory point, but the western fuel point has been lost, and the eastern fuel point will also soon be Steffen's. Volkswagen squad, they're about to go down and wiped. Try on the way there for Angreifen, that would be the Schwerpunted quarters. Steffen can actually begin taking up now. Soon take up. Soon. Very soon. Oh, mine went off the Stuart. And there you go, MD-34 suppressing the Rifleman, and we got the officer moving in here with the Panzer. Note, he's not been fully upgraded, he actually moved him a bit too soon. And a smoke screen to cover the retreat here of the Stuart. We got heavy cavalry versus breakthrough. Very nice. Question is here, will Steffen actually consider going for some ranging himself? They will probably try and take him out. Oh, Raket never misses the Stuart! Oh, that's got to feel bitter. Looks like the Stuart might escape here in the east, though. Angreifen doing good progress as well here versus Angreifen and the 2nd Panzer Division in the west. Rifleman pushed back here by the Sturmofficer's men. He's creeping into the base. They've got on the lookout. We even got flares down from the Panzer Fusiliers. It's oh dear. And he gets it. Sneaky. Very sneaky move there by Angreifen. That was very sneaky. Very good move there. Sneaky, dirty, but it worked. I don't think Steffen anticipated that. I wouldn't have anticipated that. Well, he's going to use the vehicle there to man the Raketenwerfer. You know, pushing for the Koff one. Then we got a 2nd Panzer squad out here for Angreifen. He has suffered influence. In fact, he's got no Volksgrenadiers left. There's actually sizable losses, though. Those are sizable losses. There you go, MD-34 saving the day. Their Schwerpunted quarters almost up. That'll mean his car front will be very difficult to get for Steffen PK without armoured support. We got take up there as well. Sehr good. Line for gun there, closing in veteran 2-1. Panzer Fusilier moving ahead there. Heading the fuel point, heading other points. Need to be careful not to throw his Raketenwerfer right back to Angreifen. That'd be a bit of a shame. Smoke screen down again. I'm not entirely sure where. Oh, on the fuel point. He's basically covering his own men there. That's not a bad idea, actually. Because of the MG34 they missed that one. Of course Steffen did not. Good work, Steffen. Good work. Troops there. Still some time for one calling a Sherman. A fuel cache could still be an idea there for Steffen. Of course, you might want to preserve manpower for other purposes. Riflemen need to retreat. Attack through here. Mortar, of course, ready to support. And steel hand grenade, maybe? Nope. No attempt digging them out there with a grenade. We got more riflemen moving in. But instead, we got to target them here. Focusing down the riflemen, a bit easy here, though he should still probably consider putting his steel or panzers into covers that can sort of, you know, fight a bit more efficiently there. Push up the west side with the MG34 going back the western fuel point, moving up the east side with the jump on. He's laying down a mine there behind the bushes. Very good spot. There goes Dylan Grenade. Oh no! He didn't quite react timely there and almost lost both rifle squads. They're both heavily depleted though. Oh! Talk about lucky for Steffen. That could have been 2 rifle squads wiped. That would have been huge for Angreifen. But looks like the devil was on Steffen's side this day, or at least that moment. Retreats to the officer this time just in case. Healing reinforcement. Can soon go for the Sherman, in which case he should probably get the captain back there to help supervise that. And just push out the Sherman as fast as possible. I mean, the faster you can get a tank out, the better. In particular, since Angreifen isn't too far off from getting out a panzer of his own. So whatever Steffen can do to just gain the armor edge. And I mean, considering build times are quite long and this can shave off quite a bit of time. I mean, that could easily be a minute or 2 extra with the Sherman out on the field, which would be huge for Steffen here versus Angreifen. It would be quite detrimental for Angreifen, since he's only got a single Panzerschreck to stop it. Going there by way for the Obersoldat squad. Not a bad choice. Captain not retreating. Come on, Steffen. Push out that tank. Push out that tank. There you go. There you go. Captain retreating the more out of necessity than I think any sort of tactical or strategic need. Though, of course, he might realise he could supervise that Sherman and, you know, rush it out. We shall see what it ends up with here for Steffen. I do hope he does it. I mean, that's what they would do. And again, it would be a huge benefit there to Steffen if he were to do it. But we shall see what it ends up with. Does he do it? Ooh, yes, yes, yes. Good work, Steffen. Good boy. Good man. In this case, obviously a bit late, but still managed to get it out at least maybe even 10 to 20 seconds sooner. Big push up there, on side with the Sturm officer, Panzerfusilerer. Sherman they're running here for Steffen. Quickly switch over to high explosive round to help deal with infantry. And Angreifen is still some time off from able to go for a tank. And again, he's only got a Panzerschreck here to stop the Sherman. First shot obliterates Leonard, who was always a bit awkwardly named in school and thusly teased for it. Ach mein Gott, Leonard. Panzers are there being blasted by the Sherman. Their shrubbery turns out to be not much proof against high close rounds. Mein Gott, the shrubberies, they do nothing. The crew there got the Kugelwagen, but we can see the Angreifen again strikes out at the points of again. We got the same here happening on his fuel point. So a lot of back and forth rationing between these two players as they're constantly looking to outmaneuver the other player. Jagdpanzer briefly considered, but instead he goes for the Panzer IV here. Pulling back the Sherman for repairs. Very good maneuver. He can of course use the extra vehicle crew there he's got to repair the Sherman faster, which would definitely think be a wise choice. He's even got a rearson team here. So it's basically formed up 2 improvised anti-tank teams with varying degrees of bazooka. Very good maneuver there. Ensures fast and speedy repairs of his tanks, which is generally always a good thing. It tends to be sort of a place where some players actually struggle a bit and actually can allow their opponent to get a hand back in the game because they're just not quite as sufficiently set up to repair their tanks. So that is worthwhile to keep in mind. But there you go. Sherman good to go again there for Steffen. If we can just get fuel back, and he's got a fuel cache up. My God. We can then quickly go for a second Sherman. And once he's got a second Sherman out there, he would definitely, I think, be well set up there for then pushing for a Pershing if he wanted it. With 2 Shermans, I'd be able to apply, provide ample pressure, deal with tanks, and just not lose too much momentum and so then push for a Pershing. So, and he's not too far from it. In particular, just keep up pressure on the fuel point and ensure his fuel cache does not get destroyed. But there you go. Panzer IV on the way there. Striking straight at the Sherman. Sherman needs to pull back, get armor piercing rounds up, plus it is his Bazooka teams up to support. Might be a problem though. Anti-tank rifle grenades there. Bazooka teams are arriving. Kednov moving up. So bazooka hits them, impacting on the side of the Panzer IV vehicle. Oh, they're getting murdered. Bazooka drop. Kednov pushing ahead. It looks like a bit of a tactical flop there for Steffen. Needs to retreat Kednov as well. Sturmpioneer moving in with that Panzerschreck. Not enough in support here for the Sherman. Always support your tanks with a sufficient amount of infantry when you're making those kind of bold moves. But of course, he probably wasn't anticipating Angreifen to have a Panzer IV ready this fast. But there we go. Now the smoke's going down to cover the retreat here of the Sherman, even throwing more smoke out from it. He's taking no chances, which is definitely, I think, the right attitude. Woo, dear. Really close there. Really, really close. Two's being suppressed, pinned down. And he's pulling it further back this time. He's not having anyone creep up and shoot his Sherman inside his base. Rather than moving up, this pushing him down to tank teams right yet, but he's taking too much damage from the Obersoldaten, which quickly making short work of the V-echelons, highlighting the value of the Obersoldaten. But there you go, he could begin pushing out a Sherman here if he just supervises it. And again, that would be 2 Shermans out in the field fast, which would be able to put some serious pressure on Angreifen. Yeah, there we go. There we go. And just got my notice. That is a significant boost. Again, we're talking, you know, some of them might take a minute and a half down to a matter of seconds. Like maybe 10, 20 seconds. I mean, that's a lot of time that's on this. I mean, all of a sudden, Steffen is pushing for a hard armor advantage over Angreifen. Of course, he needs to be careful not to toss away the tanks and any insensible engagements. And Angreifen just needs to keep working his infantry together with his Panzer IV there, so that of course makes them much more formidable. Okay, now for there, Orbison took a nasty hit there from the Sherman. Still no infantry support there for the Sherman, one rushing hit. They're not even with that second Sherman in tow there. Steffen needs to be rather careful about that. I mean, you should remember what happened to the first Sherman, how he almost lost it because he rushed it in like that. There you go, Panther 4 Sturmpioneer, Panzer Fusilier moving in. In the east, rifle pushed back here by a single Sturm officer with 11 kills, doing pretty well. The MD-34 covering the centre. Sherman about letting hits from the MD-34, which immediately retreats, having no intention of tangling with a Sherman tank in the middle of the bloody open. Panther moving down the middle of the road here, straight in front of my Kedner for the Sherman. Shots fired, shots bounced. Bazookas fired. There we go, there we go. Panther on a lot of trouble. The first part of the Kedner hit and penetrated. That would have been very nasty there for this Panther 4. Might have been very close to being destroyed entirely. In this case, it was lucky that the second Sherman had been sent on an entirely other right, far east, ensuring he could not gain a local armor advantage, then just destroyed outright. So, bit of good luck there for Angreifen. Bit of good luck there. Back here, the reinforcement healing going on. A part of me might want to make Steffen consider here going for some ranges with the Thompson. They could really do a lot of damage, catching the support weapon teams out and just sweep them down. Veterans 5 Panzer, that's pretty good there for Angreifen. For the second Panzer Division as they turn to the Riflemen here. Jagdpanzer on the way there. BAR dropped. Now that's a bit of a nasty loss there. And there goes Sherman, good to go once more here for Steffen. Second Sherman in the east being repaired. He could actually grab the BAR on the Panzer position, augment their firepower, but they need to retreat them right now because they're in a really, really bad spot. Jagdpanzer arriving there for Angreifen. Rifleman sweeping ahead. In the centre, the MD-34 moves up straight to the captain. Heavy covering fire from inside the house, and that MD-34 is going to have to fall back. That is not a good position. No cover, and a unit inside garrison cover. And the Sherman arriving as well here with the 50 caliber and the high close rounds. Small chance of getting a wipe. And there goes, should steal the MD-34 and turn it to his own purposes, which is going to make it harder for Angreifen to use his infantry efficiently. And there you go, he makes the move. Very good. Then we got the Panzer IV there robbing, might be able to disrupt it. There's no supporting infantry. Again, small problem there for Steffen. His infantry is all over the place, whereas Angreifen is now sort of switching over to more concentrated pushes, combined arms engagement, which is definitely allowing him to overwhelm Steffen here and there gaining dastardly local superiority. Trades a bit of territory and resources here and there, but basically much he's aiming now to destroy clumps of Steffen's forces. That way overall aiming for long term just gaining an advantage. So in a sense you could argue he's conforming here to Mordel's sword and shield tactics, which basically, of course some might argue is actually deception when he would just be able to pull back territory under the nose of the Führer, but basically in theory it's supposed to be about you just contract your forces then to be able to concentrate your forces elsewhere to hit faster, conceding territory for more offensive strength. And go Jagdpanzer shoots at the Sherman. Good hit with its high velocity gun. Same gun as on the Panther, though not quite suited for the chassis of the Panzer IV. In fact, even without a turret, it was still rather too heavy. There's some risks there. Plus, there was also too long to the ground, so they had to remove the gun muzzle there, so ensure it didn't kick up a ton of dust. That muzzle, I can't remember. I can't quite remember the name for it. Basically, you know, that bit on the front of the Panther IV there, to ensure it didn't kick up a ton of dust. Muzzle brake, yes, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, I think it was muzzle brake. So a few fun facts there. Mines down there, good work by Angreifen. And overall better combined arms tactics from Angreifen. Bring up my anti-tank in there for Steffen. He's clearly not aiming for the Persian game. With two Shermans out, he can definitely get away with that. I mean, that's sort of the force compensation that will allow it to work. I mean, he's not just, you know, going fuel Führer syndrome. He has got, you know, an actual plan. He's got a force that can sort of stall and buy for time properly until the Pershing is out, and even sort of pressure. And of course, more importantly, support the Pershing when it hits, which is also really important. Of course, the issue is so far he's not quite adept at working his tanks together in any bigger cohesive force, whereas this is rather seemingly territory where Angreifen excels, and right there he's about to lose his Sherman if he's not careful. Okay, Nathan Chopper as well. Wipe, that's going to be right back in Angreifen's hands. That's going to be really nasty, because there's going to be some big advantage in engagement if he has to worry about a second Raketenwerfer suddenly appearing out of the dirt. So this was definitely a tactical error there by Steffen, and a tactical victory there. We got a smoke screen down, he moves up here. I think he's trying to hit the base, or is trying to hit some weaker supporting units. I'm not entirely sure what Steffen's plan is here, but with only one tank and nothing else going on, yeah, he seemingly realised he might have been on to nothing there and just pulls back his tank. But there you go. Mine hit, main gun out. Jagdpanzer moving in. Oh, scheisse. There's a noble attempt there by Steffen, but again, without any sort of clear plan as to what he was doing there, that was just folly. He might still have a small chance of getting out of there. That's going to be pretty risky. There we go. Ah! Abandoned, and there you go, taken up by Panzerschreck. A noble effort there by Steffen, but ultimately not quite enough. And there you go, infantry advancing undercover. The Jagdpanzer, Panther 4, I imagine is, there we go, awaiting repairs. You might want to consider another Sturmpioneer squad to assist with that. Steffen is really close here to the Pershing, but he needs to work on his infantry arm coordination tactics. I mean, obviously he might be aiming there for, of course, a more realistic representation of the US Army's efforts, which actually had issues with infantry and tank cooperation. There were definite problems, despite them doing several things, including actually welding telephones to the back of the Sherman tanks, so infantry could talk more directly to the tank crews. But all there was also a sort of sense of mistrust between the different ones, their different arms. In there are cases where one would just pull back in front of the other one. That would definitely not help it either. Blend cover grenade off there. Angreifen advancing. Angreifen versus Panzerverlierer. Bazooka fire there on the Jagdpanzer. Small decent hits there. Orbison pushed back, leaving several units here exposed. Good work. But he still needs to be careful of that Sherman. He needs to be very careful. The Jagdpanzer there, veterans one. Okay, Never takes a nasty hit, but doesn't get wiped. And the Panzer IV, though, is still awaiting repairs. We got a truck out here aiming for a mechanized repair regiment for just assisting with repairs, so it doesn't have to manage that much. Definitely a good choice, I think, at this stage. I mean, he could aim for more armor. I know the Jagdpanzer, Panther, that would not be a bad choice either, but I mean, at this stage, getting something just to repair tanks when you all got a Jagdpanzer, Panther 4 and a bunch of other things is not a bad choice at all. I mean, his force competence is not as strong, so being able to focus more on the front line without, you know, focus all the time on repairing your tanks, of course, just, you know, having a bit of freedom there, I think could also be, you know, beneficial for Angreifen. We got a Pershing out there for Steffen, so he's got his heavy tank out. Of course, Angreifen's got 2 Raketenwerfers, a Jagdpanzer, Panther IV, Panzerschreck, sort of a bit contested. So that's not going to be quite as straightforward there for Steffen as he might have wanted it to be. In particular, not when we are quite aware that Angreifen is quite adept at working his tanks, infantry, and support weapons together in a large whole. Whereas Steffen is increasingly struggling with that. Again, he's not working his tanks, infantry, and support weapons, together in a bigger unity. There's a lack of combined arms. Even there's a ability which does it, which might incentivize him towards it. Oh, that was a brilliant hit there. Almost taking out an Oversold squad and a Panzer with the squad. Oh, he might be able to do it, though in this case, luck seems to be failing Angreifen a bit here this time around. Oh, he might lose the Sherman in his attempt to get it. Oh, missed. And, yeah, again, we can sort of see the issue. Oh, he got the Jagdpanzer, though. But he lost the Sherman, and he didn't get the wipe there. And he's still got 2 Raketenwerfers to deal with, and the infantry's nowhere near to be seen. This is also where the range has been quite helpful, since they're quite good at clearing out stuff like Raketenwerfers. Now he's rushing in the Pershing between them, hoping to destroy them, but they're sneaked by infantry with anti-tank weapons, anti-tank rifles, there's the snares, and now they're stuck right in front of the Raketenwerfers. And again, there is no infantry support, meaning the Pershing is going to take a lot of damage from them. So this is kind of the flaw here in Steffen's tactics. That is the particular flaw there. And where Angreifen is now able to sort of gain ground, whereas he actually initially in the game sort of struggled there with Steffen's aggressive tactics. But now where the game sort of is changing over sort of how it works, it's suddenly becoming Angreifen's battlefield. Because he's much better at working infantry, tanks and support weapons together. And that Storm was resulting. He's actually got 13 kills on that, that's pretty good. Is actually pretty good. But obviously not as good as the Panzer with his 34 kills with G4 efficient BARs, but even then, some of those were probably helped by the Sturmofficer, and most people don't get that much out of the Sturmofficer either. So really that, I think, has been a pretty good choice there for Angreifen. Sturmpionier virtually free, with a Panzerschreck there, Oberslag joining in. Also been, I think, pretty good choice here. And now Steffen is much more contained within his base. Ooh, Sturmpanzer is almost wiped by the mortar. Breakthrough tactics, allowing now to quickly seize control of most of the map here, denying Steffen a lot of territory rapidly in a matter of seconds. Very good work there by Angreifen. He's then making use of the abilities of the Breakthrough Doctrine, which is actually pretty good for the Doctrine. I mean, the last two are a lot more clunky. I mean, Assault Artillery is just really difficult to get into the serious use of, and the Jagdtiger is just not very good. I mean, it might become a bit better in 1 vs 1 with the patch where it can use its direct fire ability more, like, an artillery piece, but that's about it. So, I mean, 3 out of 5 for Breakthrough is actually really good. Most players only use the Panzer Fusiliers, and that's it. To see someone actually use all 3 of those abilities is pretty damn amazing. So what's Steffen going to ask? Is he actually playing for another Pershing? That might be a bit risky, and of course there's no room here for King Tiger from Angreifen and the 2nd Panzer Division. I think that's what he's aiming for. I mean, having destroyed several Shermans and other bits there, plus the Pershing, a King Tiger would be a very strong finishing move here for Angreifen. It would be very difficult for Steffen BK to deal with. It would be very difficult to deal with. If he's playing for another person, which of course could threaten him before he gets another King Target, the problem is it's not going to be too far off, and by the time he then gets the King Target, the person is going to be severely outgunned. Plus, of course, there's still the combined arms issue for Steffen. 14 kills on the Sturmoffizier. Graf encountering a wall of German marksmanship, which halts them in their tracks. And we got the MD-54 over in the west there. Panzer advances.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
Oh, Panzer taking a hit from the M1 anti-tank gun. Mein Gott, Otto, they're shooting at us. Ach, a paint job. Ja, und a radio operator. I think he got a concussion. Need to hit that centre victory point schnell. And of course with this gun you just need to pull back here towards the mechanised regiment and you just have automatically fixed. So again you can just focus more on the front line as his tank repairs. It's not going to be super fast, but at the same time, like if it just gets fast repaired immediately, that's going to quickly make up for itself long term. Plus again, he can then focus more on the front line. This is really sort of one of the great advantages of the repair pioneers. It's not just, hey, they do this for free. Essentially what you got doing, it's you don't have to manage it. I mean, that's really one of the key elements there, because many things you just have to manage everything, and then, suddenly having to repair a tank is something to load there. So with this, you just have to pay attention. Is it fixed? Oh, good to go. It has a very strong sort of element of convenience, but again, just relieving mental pressure, allowing you to use, your mental energies elsewhere. There you go, forced retreat here, defending the east. Good use of the Sturm Officer again by Angreifen. He's actually made use of both abilities of the officer. Outstanding. And we can see here, finally Steffen has gone for the Rangers. I just feel like it was too little too late here. Had he had much sooner to work with his rifle, with his Shermans and his Pershing, I think Steffen would have been in a much stronger position. And he's clearly aiming for the Pershing. But the problem is just, there's going to be a King Tiger out before he gets the Pershing out. And there you go, Rifle Squad White Panther 4, the Victory 2 is of course a very nasty customer. And this is rather looking like GG though here for Steffen. In with the Pershing out. The options are dropping off rapidly. Angreifen is very much in control of things. Panzer is advancing. Rangers flanking in there. But there you kind of are from Veteran 3 Orbis of Darden. Veteran 4 Panzer is opening up there. And the Rangers just getting absolutely demolished. They are getting cut to ribbons. And there you go, wiped. And there you go, GG, game over. A loss for Steffen, a loss for the American Army. The 3rd Armored Division is forced to fall back here in the face of rough German resistance from the 2nd Panzer Division as it breaks through its lines. So there you go, a brutal victory here on Crossroads, highlighting the power of combined arms. Of course, also highlighting the power of the early American gain, but ultimately in this case Steffen was unable to really make all of the strong elements to work into a cohesive larger whole, allowing Angreifen to hit back by, working his tanks together efficiently, that way gaining an overall advantage, and slowly but surely pushing back Steffen, and breaking him apart there. So there you go, the power of combined arms. So also really good doctrinal usage there compared, I think, to Steffen. While making good use of smoke and some other bits, they never really used mines. Rangers was too late, and there was much shells from the doctrine, so there's definitely a lot of room for improvement there for Steffen as well. But I would like to commend him though on using the captain to survive stuff, then rush it ahead. That was actually really good, and I think really one of the things I'm surprised more American players don't do. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe to your friends, share it with everyone. If not, send in a replay of your own, or provide some feedback in the comment section. This is Imperial Dancing. Cheers, thank you for watching. Hope to see you tomorrow for another Sunday episode. Bye.